Well, hi everyone. It's time for our next update, and I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about all these updates, if you can't tell. Um, this one here is going to be a real short video as far as talking about the update, because it's about the functional, or not the functional, but the intelligence scan and comprehensive. So before we jump into that, let me go through a few other things that have come up over the week. People have explained that they've had some challenges with when they do an update, it never completes the update, or that parts of the scan don't work correctly. So let me tell you what we've done to address some of those. If you're working in an area where you do not have good Wi-Fi, updates are critical to be on a Wi-Fi. And if you don't have good Wi-Fi at home, or you don't use Wi-Fi at home, when you're doing an update, you really need to go somewhere where you can get a good Wi-Fi signal. And there's places out in your community that you can do that. But when we are doing an update, these are heavy data downloads, big data downloads. And if you'll notice on the bottom of your screen, there's a little bar now that goes across and tells you the percentage of what's been updated. And some of those concerns that have come in and said, well, it gets stuck around 40%. If it's getting stuck, it's because it's not getting a good signal. Now, I will tell you, between 35 and about 60% of the download, that's a really heavy part of the download. And so that will take a little longer. You'll see it go pretty fast up to about 35, 40. And then it's kind of hangs up for a little while. It's not really hang up. It's just a lot coming down. And then all of a sudden it'll start to pick up around 49 and 50. And then by 60, it pretty much goes the rest of the way. If you see that you get hung up for more than 15 or 20 seconds around that 45 to 50%, that's an indication you don't have a good enough or a strong enough Wi-Fi signal. Okay, so just be aware of that. Take your time. Be patient with these downloads, because the other thing that can cause this to be a little slower is if all of you were to download at the exact same moment, which isn't going to happen. But we have had as many as 2,000 people scanning exactly at the same time, and we've had no issues. So I'm just saying, but when there's a lot of download happening all at the same time, it can be a little slower. Be patient. Don't push it. Let it complete its download. Now, if you're still having issues with that, it's recommended that you go into your Google, and we have videos online that will show you how to do this. But you need to clear the history and the cache in your Google, especially if you're one of those like me. Sometimes you get a little impatient, try to go a little too fast from one part of the scan to another. It can get caught up. So when you're going from one scan to another, or when you're trying to open up, take a little bit more time, a couple seconds more between pushes, and you won't have as many hangups. But go in, clear your cookies, clear your history, and make sure you do it all time, not just the last hour or the last 7 days. Just clear it all. Your device is really meant to be your scanner. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go on to the internet from time to time or look up something, especially emails, no problems. Some of your things like your checking accounts or those types of things, no issues. But when you get into other apps and other programs, a lot of the social media ones, they can really bog down your system. And they put little things in your system that can really slow it down. So if you're going to do browsing and your social media stuff, I really strongly recommend you do that on another device. Keep this device as clean as possible. And I know there's other things out in the market. There's other phones and stuff that are supposed to be safer on the internet. In our experience, that has not been the real case. So do your homework on those types of things. You just need a device that is not, preferably not an iPhone or another Samsung or any of those other types of devices, because their programs will start to grab the resources from the phone's processor. And our application is data hungry. It needs as much of that processor as possible. So that's why we use the devices that we use. Okay, that was that. A couple of the other things that have come up are I'm not getting my reports. You cannot print the vitals report or the comprehensive reports at this time in a very easy way. That is something that you will eventually be able to do when you email it. You'll be able to actually print those reports, print those out. Another request has been comprehensives. They kind of like the old pictures of the comprehensive. Those of you that haven't seen those, you're not familiar with them, but we will have the option for you down the road to be able to select between the new 3D view and the old PDF view. That is not something that's going to happen in the next few weeks. That'll be something maybe this summer where you'll have the ability to back and forth between those views. We're trying to make it to where when you're having a scanning experience, there's as few hiccups or bugs as possible. Doing the old comprehensive PDFs really slow down the speed in your scanner. We are working on coding that will mitigate some of those issues. So just be patient with that, and that will come back to you. Like I said in the past, stacking is something that was not ever meant to be, and it went away as we started clearing up some of the other things that we felt needed to be cleaned up in the Cepheid program. But it will come back with a vengeance. You'll have it to where you can actually make playlists that you can program to turn on and off. You can put in your frequencies. You can stack up to about 10 of those, and they will start in sync, and that's the key. And you can always go back to some of the other videos for more information on that. We will continue to make improvements. Now, for the last 4 weeks, we've been able to do an update every week, and we will have one next Sunday as well. But they now will start to become more like every 2 to 3 weeks, those updates. Now, there's always updates being done, but a lot of them are in the back end, so you wouldn't see them on your screen, but you would see them in better functionality on your scan. Now, let me just tell you, we just hit a milestone. We have done over 700,000 scans in the last 5 months. That means you guys are using your device. That is so awesome. At the rate we're going, we will hit over 1 million scans done on an AO system, probably within the next 30 to 45 days. That's awesome. That's really awesome. Okay, let's get to the update. All right. The update here is when you do comprehensive. Let me just open up comprehensive for you. Now you'll notice it took a second or two for the inner voice vitals and complete boxes to go live. That can take up to 3 or maybe 4 seconds depending on your scan. Before you can use intelligent scan, you must have done an inner voice and a vitals. You must do those 2 scans before you can actually use intelligent scan. Now, if you'll notice, custom scan is still there. Custom scan gives you the whole library, and you can pick and choose what you want. What we didn't want, and what most of you were doing, was clicking everything and doing the whole scan. And that scan was taking 5 to 6 minutes to do, and optimization was taking up to 10 minutes to do. It's too much. It's too much for one sitting. And intelligent scan, we ran into some issues converting it from our big scanner down to the mobile device, and that's why it came now, later. But that's what we'd really rather you used, and you'll find that you'll get cleaner results because you're not putting any stress on the body when you do these types of scans. So what you can do, if let's say you're just interested in the emotional impact, you can click on inner voice, and it will then scan, and you see it takes a second or two to do it, the parts of the body that are being infected by the emotional impact in our voice. Is that amazing? That is really cool. So you can really get right down to the meat of it. And it will load in the items that were from that. Now, let's say it's not the inner voice you're interested in. I want to know what vitals is what the impact of vitals is having on me. So, sorry, I went the wrong one. Let's go to comprehensive and click on the vitals. And these are the issues that came up from what's going on in my vitals. Okay, isn't that amazing? All right, and then you have the complete. Now, the complete takes everything from the inner voice, everything from the vitals, and then it will actually go through and look for some of the other issues that are coming up because of those two that aren't specific. And when you hit complete, that's going to load the full intelligence scan. And that'll be, and you'll notice it's taken a little bit longer. That will be between 35 and 43 items out of 130. Okay. And that's really an ideal scan. It's not too much, and it's what you need to know. Now, you're going to scan, listen, let's say that you've got a sore back, or you've got a sore muscle somewhere. And in this intelligence scan, it didn't show that. Doesn't mean that it missed it. It means that it's probably a symptom of something else. Okay, so what we want to look here is we want to deal with the things that are yelling the loudest, so to speak, frequency-wise. Deal with those, and then some of these other issues that we have tend to fall away. So intelligence scan is an amazing tool for you, especially when you're working with clients. Most all the time, you're going to want to do the complete, because that's the best picture, and then do the optimization on that. But if you've got a client you've used a lot and they're dealing especially with emotional issues right now, you may want to just do the intelligence scan off of inner voice. So anyway, play with it with yourself, get familiar with it. I think you're going to love the intelligence scan. Okay, so that's how that works. It populates, as you'll notice, just the things that came up from those scans. Okay, and then now you can always just do a custom scan. If you're really familiar with your body or your client's situation at the time, click custom, deselect everything, and then just go through and select the things you want to look at. Okay, so that's the comprehensive. Play with it. Let me know how you think and what you think of this one. Now, before I jump off, and I told you this would be a short video, and I guess I wasn't correct, because I'm all the way back up to almost 13 minutes. The next one coming out is one that you've all been asking for, and one we're excited to get out, and that will be next Sunday, is the supplement list up here in your profile. And so when you want to go in and add supplements and therapies, you're going to be able to put in a master list, okay? So my library, see where it's still grayed out right now? Coming soon, my library, that comes active next Sunday. And here you'll be able to load in all of the supplements and all the therapies that you want. And then when you go to set up an individual's profile, you'll be able to just draw and just move over from your main library to the profiles, and you can have as many of those as you want. And we'll go into more detail on that. There will also be an AO scan library of some of our either supplements that we produce or that we recommend. They'll also be in there as well. But this you have full control over. So until next time, I'm going to say, have the rest of your weekend a good weekend. Keep your vibrations high. Look for you later. See ya.